Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's February 19th, 2014, and here are our top stories.
Tonight, the Ukraine riots heat up after the rioters seize over 1,500 guns. And another case of cops tasering a deaf man who's having a diabetic attack. Then, David Knight sits down with Wolfgang Halbig on the discrepancies at the Sandy Hook shooting. All this and more on the InfoWars Nightly News.
And welcome back. Our top story tonight, rioters seize over 1,500 guns in Ukraine mayhem. Ukraine Security Service has announced it's launching a counter-terror operation. Radicals have seized over 1,500 firing arms and 100,000 bullets in the past 24 hours, the security service says. Now, these 100,000 bullets is nothing compared to what they're stocking up domestically for the DHS. But back to the matter at hand, these arms are being seized from military depots and other places as well. Now, of course, this is the situation in Kiev, where rioters, protesters, whatever they're being called this week, have been clashing with police. There have been buildings burned down, fires in the street, complete mayhem. And I do definitely have a lot of respect for the Kiev police, at least as far as they're handling the situation with non-lethal force. We've seen many rioters using lethal force against the police, using weapons with live ammunition, also using the fiery cocktails and so forth. So I definitely respect the restraint of the Kiev police, because here in the States, it wouldn't have got this far without the police coming back with lethal force, because we live in a country where if you break up a fight, you'll get tased by the police. But if you're having a seizure, you'll get tased by the police. If you're peacefully protesting outside of a college, you'll get pepper sprayed in the face. If somebody else robs a bank and you show up and you run from the cops, they'll shoot you in the back, even though you didn't match the description of the guy who robbed the bank. That's the kind of country that we live in here in the States. But at least respect the police. You know, I'm not agreeing with the whole situation in Kiev on either side or on multiple sides, but I definitely respect that the police are not killing their own citizens in the streets. Now, more on the Kiev situation, we have this article from Kurt Nimmo. Bush-era diplomat says Ukraine's situation is a threat to national security.
We can see this all over the world, American influence slipping away in Ukraine and Venezuela and the Middle East, and we will pay the price of this for a long time unless people speak up.
Now, that was former United Nations Ambassador John Bolton, and as Kurt Nimmo points out in the article, Bolton failed to explain how the civil strife in Ukraine and Venezuela adversely affect the national security of the United States. He insisted that it's the responsibility of the U.S. to respond when selectively chosen friends of the United States, in effect friends of liberty, find themselves on the barricades. And that's exactly right, because we see in selective enforcement, selective help, because you think about recently, or more recently, with the Kony 2012 situation, where many people said that Kony was already dead, or at least missing. These are people from Uganda before 2012. And it definitely is a horrible thing that they have the children out killing each other, out there in Uganda. But, people got involved in that because of the resources of Uganda, not just because they're so humanitarian and just good go-getting people. So we'll talk more about this. Alex Jones is going to break down not the Kony 2012 situation, but the situation in Kiev, where we have the riots in the streets, the protesters, the rioters fighting with police. So he's going to give us a breakdown that he gave on the Alex Jones radio show.
The collapsed former Soviet attempted world order. And you have the George Soros, CIA, globalist-funded groups, many of which have real beefs with the government, absolutely going wild, absolutely attacking and shooting police. They've stolen thousands of, quote, firearms from the military and police, calling for the country to join the EU. They're mad that the government a few months ago, and there was also a vote in their parliament, did not enter the EU. Listen, I don't want them to join Russia or the EU. How about we have sovereign countries again that aren't dominated by corrupt kleptocratic empires? The bottom line here is just like the Syria civil war, it is the West quarterbacking and running this entire operation. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com.